The doorbell rings at exactly 3 p.m. I know who it is. I've been expecting this. I open the door to find my in-laws standing on my porch, Judith and Richard, suitcases at their feet, exhaustion and entitlement warring on their faces. They look older than I remember, worn down, but still carrying that air of superiority that never quite leaves people like them, even when they're at rock bottom. "We're here," Judith announces. Not hello, not thank you for having us, just we're here, like they're doing me a favor. "I can see that," I say evenly. "Well," Richard gestures at their bags, "are you going to help us with these or not? Where are you planning to go with them?" They look at each other, then at me like I'm stupid. "Inside," Judith says slowly, like she's explaining something to a child. "To the guest room. We called. We told Sarah we needed to stay for a while. She said it was fine. She said you could ask. That's different from saying yes. Don't be ridiculous. We're family. Of course we can stay." Judith moves to push past me. "Which room is ours? Upstairs or down?" I don't move. Block the doorway with my body. "Neither." "Excuse me?" "The rooms are rented. You can't stay here." Silence. Complete stunned silence. "Rented?" Richard's face is turning red. "What do you mean rented?" Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. I mean, there are paying tenants in the guest rooms, short-term rental. They booked through Airbnb. They're staying for the next 2 weeks. "You're lying," Judith says flatly. "You're trying to keep us out." "I'm not lying. I'm stating facts. The rooms are occupied. You can't stay here." "So, kick them out," Richard sputters. "We're family. They're strangers. They're paying customers with a contract. You're people who told me I'd never amount to anything. Funny how that works out." I can see Sarah behind me, standing in the hallway. She knows. She helped me plan this. After years of watching them tear me down, she finally understands. Judith's mouth opens and closes. "You can't be serious. You'd let strangers stay in your home, but not your wife's parents." "Strangers who pay and respect me, over family who spent years disrespecting me? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing." I step back, close the door, not slam it, just close it gently, politely, with finality. Through the door, I hear Judith shriek, "This is insane! Sarah, Sarah, tell him he can't do this." But Sarah is standing next to me, silent, hand in mine. "You taught me that people should live according to what they deserve," I call through the door. "This is what you deserve." We walk away. Leave them on the porch with their bags and their shock and their belated understanding that consequences are real. Before we get into how it got here, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment with your city or country. I love knowing where you're all watching from. And if this story resonates, hit that hype button. It helps more than you know. All right, let's get into it. I met Sarah in college, junior year. She was studying psychology. I was studying business. We fell in love fast. One of those relationships where you just know. Where it feels right, where you can see the future clearly. Her parents were less enthusiastic. Our first meeting was at a restaurant. Nice place. Her choice. She wanted to impress them, wanted them to like me. I wore my best outfit, which was a button-down shirt I'd gotten on clearance and khakis I'd owned since high school. Judith and Richard showed up in designer clothes, new car, that air of money that some people wear like cologne. "So, you're the boyfriend," Richard said, shaking my hand with a grip designed to intimidate. "Sarah's told us about you." "Nice to meet you, sir." "What do you do?" "I'm finishing my business degree, working part-time at a retail store to cover expenses." Retail. He said it like I'd said sewage management. "And after graduation?" "Hopefully a position in marketing or management. I've got a few interviews lined up." "Hopefully." Judith smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "That's optimistic." The dinner got worse from there. Every question was designed to highlight what I didn't have, what I hadn't achieved, what I probably never would achieve. "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Richard asked. "Ideally, in a stable career, maybe starting to think about buying a house, building a foundation." "A foundation?" Judith's smile was condescending. "Sarah grew up in a 5-bedroom house with a pool. She's accustomed to a certain lifestyle." "I understand that. I'm working toward being able to provide." "Working toward isn't the same as being able to provide. My daughter deserves security, stability, success, not promises and optimism. Sarah tried to intervene. Mom, that's not fair. It's realistic, dear. We just want to make sure you're making good choices. The message was clear. I wasn't a good choice. We got married anyway. 2 years after graduation, small ceremony. I'd landed a job in marketing, decent pay, not amazing, but stable. Entry level. Room for growth. We moved into a small apartment, 1 bedroom, 800 square feet. Older building in a neighborhood that was safe but not trendy. Furnished with hand-me-downs from friends, clearance items from Target, a couch we'd gotten free from Craigslist. It wasn't much, but it was ours. We were happy. Building a life together, starting from the bottom with plans to climb. Then her parents visited. Judith walked in, and her face immediately twisted in barely concealed disgust. She didn't even try to hide it. This is where you live? Not asked, stated, accusatory. It's small, but it's home, Sarah said defensively. We're saving money, being smart. Smart would have been marrying someone who could afford better than this. Judith gestured vaguely at our living room. Where's your dining table? We eat at the counter, I said. The space is too small for a table. Too small for a table, dear God. She turned to Sarah. You deserve better than this. You grew up with so much more. How can you possibly be happy here? I am happy, Mom. We both are. For now, wait until reality sets in. Wait until you realize what you gave up. Richard was examining our furniture with the kind of expression you'd use to examine trash. This couch. Is it safe? It looks like it has diseases. It's clean, I said tightly. We got it from a professor who was moving. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Wonderful. My daughter sitting on someone else's discarded furniture. He shook his head. Sarah, we need to talk about your choices. They pulled her into the bedroom, our only bedroom, for a private conversation that I could hear perfectly through the thin walls. He can't provide for you, Judith said. Look at this place. Look at how you're living. You deserve so much better. I love him, Mom. Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't put a roof over your head. Well, a good roof, not whatever this is. We're building a life together. You're settling. You could have married Marcus. Remember Marcus? He's a doctor now, lives in a beautiful house, drives a Mercedes. That could have been you. I don't want Marcus. I want my husband. For now. Wait until you're 30 and still living in places like this. Wait until your friends are in real houses and you're still in this. I stood in the living room, listening, feeling smaller and smaller with each word. When they left, couldn't leave fast enough, really. Judith hugged Sarah and whispered loud enough for me to hear. This is temporary. You'll realize soon enough. Come home when you're ready. Then she looked at me. Take care of our daughter, or someone else will. The visits continued over the next year. Each one was an exercise in humiliation. They'd show up announced, examine our apartment like investigators looking for code violations, and make comments. Still no dining table? Is that the same couch? I thought you'd have replaced it by now. Your kitchen is so small. How do you cook anything here? I can't believe you don't have central air. It's like living in the third world. Each visit, I felt more inadequate, more like a failure, more like I was dragging Sarah down. She defended me, always defended me. But I could see the comments wearing on her, see her looking at our apartment with slightly less contentment, see her comparing our life to her parents' expectations. The worst moment came after I didn't get a promotion I'd been hoping for. Management position would have meant a significant raise, but they gave it to someone with more experience. Sarah's parents were visiting again when I got the news. I made the mistake of mentioning it. So you didn't get the promotion, Richard said. Not a question, a statement of fact. Not this time, but there will be other opportunities. Other opportunities. He laughed, bitter, mean. That's what people say when they don't have what it takes. Winners don't need other opportunities. They win the first time. That's not fair, Sarah said. He worked hard for that. Working hard isn't enough. You have to be smart, strategic, exceptional. Does he look exceptional to you? Richard gestured at me, at our apartment, at our life. This is what average gets you. A small apartment and excuses. I think you should leave, I said quietly. Oh, should we? Is that an order? In your 800-square-foot kingdom? Dad, stop, Sarah said. I'm just speaking truth. Your husband is average. He has an average job, makes average money, lives an average life, and our daughter deserves extraordinary. They left. But the words stayed, burrowed into my brain like parasites. Average, average, average. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling of our small bedroom, listening to Sarah breathe beside me. And I made a promise to myself. One day, they'll regret underestimating me. One day, I'll have everything they said I'd never have. And when they need me, because people like that always eventually need something, I'll remember every insult. The comments didn't stop. They never stopped. Every holiday, every birthday, every random visit, each one was an opportunity for Judith and Richard to remind me and Sarah that I wasn't good enough. At first, Sarah defended me vigorously. He's doing his best. We're happy. Money isn't everything. You're being unfair. But over time, I noticed the defense becoming weaker, the conviction fading, the certainty wavering. We'd been married 3 years when the real cracks started showing. I came home from work one evening to find Sarah sitting on our hand-me-down couch, the one her father had called diseased, staring at her phone. "Hey, how was your day?" I kissed her forehead. "Fine." She didn't look up. "You okay?" "Yeah, just looking at houses." My stomach dropped. Houses? My friend Emma just bought a house. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, big yard. She posted pictures. Sarah finally looked up. "It's beautiful. Like really beautiful." "That's great for Emma." Her husband is an engineer. They've been married less time than us. They already have a house. Different industries, different pay scales. You can't compare. I'm not comparing. I'm just noticing. She set her phone down. "Do you think we'll ever be able to afford a house?" "Eventually. We're saving. It'll take time, but how much time? 5 years? 10 years? By the time we can afford a house, we'll be 40. All our friends will have bought houses, had kids, moved on with their lives. And we'll still be here, in this apartment, with this couch." "You hate the couch now?" "I don't hate the couch. I hate that we can't afford better. I hate that we're stuck. I hate that my parents were right." The words hung in the air like smoke. "Right about what?" "About this, us, about you not being able to provide the life I'm used to. I'm providing. We have a roof, food, we're paying our bills, we're saving. I'm not making us rich, but I'm not failing either." "You're not failing. You're just not succeeding. There's a difference." "What do you want me to do, Sarah? I'm working as hard as I can. I'm trying to move up. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe hard work isn't enough. Maybe my parents are right that you're just average, and average people live average lives. And I don't know if I want an average life." I felt like I'd been slapped. "Are you saying you want a divorce?" "No. God, no. I'm frustrated. I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of my parents being right about everything. They're not right. They're assholes. Assholes who live in a beautiful house and drive nice cars and take vacations to Europe. Maybe being an asshole is worth it if you're successful." "You don't mean that?" "I don't know what I mean anymore." She went to bed early. I stayed up, sitting on the diseased couch, feeling like the biggest failure in the world. The fights became more frequent. Not big fights, small ones, pointed comments, frustrated sighs, comparisons. Emma and her husband are going to Hawaii for their anniversary. Jake got promoted again. He's making 6 figures now. My parents asked when we're going to visit them. I don't know what to tell them. They'll just judge our car, judge our clothes, judge everything. Maybe we should have waited to get married until you were more established. Each comment was a small cut, and small cuts add up to deep wounds. I started working longer hours, taking on extra projects, volunteering for assignments no one else wanted, anything to prove I wasn't average, anything to move up faster. I came home exhausted. Sarah was exhausted. We were 2 people living in 800 square feet, both feeling trapped, both resenting our circumstances. Her parents' next visit was 6 months later, Sarah's birthday. They insisted on taking us out to dinner. Their treat, they emphasized, like we couldn't afford our own dinner. Which, to be fair, at the restaurant they chose, we probably couldn't. Over-expensive steaks I didn't taste. Richard brought up the house situation. "Still in the apartment?" "Still there," I said flatly. We thought maybe by now you'd have moved up. Moved forward. Guess not." "We're saving," Sarah said, but her voice lacked conviction. "Saving, yes, that's smart," Judith smiled. "Of course, at the rate you're saving, you'll be able to afford a down payment in what? 10 years? 15? We're doing our best. Your best isn't enough, though, is it? Look at Sarah. Look at her face. She's miserable, living in that tiny apartment. watching all her friends move ahead while she's stuck with someone who can't provide. Mom, stop. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. You deserve better than this, better than him. We told you before you got married. We warned you. I love my husband. Love doesn't pay for houses. Love doesn't give you the life you deserve. I excused myself, went to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror and wondered if they were right, if I was average, if Sarah did deserve better. When I came back, Judith was showing Sarah something on her phone. Marcus just bought a beach house, second home. He's single now, you know. His wife left him, her mistake, but he's available. And he's always had a soft spot for you. Mom, I'm married. Marriages end, especially when one person is holding the other back. I sat down, said nothing, finished my expensive steak in silence. On the drive home, Sarah was quiet. You okay? I asked. No, but I don't want to talk about it. We should talk about it. Your parents are trying to sabotage our marriage. Maybe they're trying to save me from a mistake. The words hit like a physical blow. You think marrying me was a mistake? I think I'm tired. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of being the only one of my friends who can't afford nice things. I'm tired of defending you to my parents. I'm tired of feeling like we're failing. We're not failing. We're building. It takes time. How much time? Because I don't know how much longer I can do this. We drove the rest of the way in silence. That night, lying in bed, I made a decision. I couldn't change what her parents thought of me, but I could change our circumstances. I could work harder, smarter, better. I could prove them wrong. Not for them, for Sarah, for us, for myself. But I wouldn't tell them. Wouldn't give them the satisfaction of knowing they'd gotten to me. I'd let them think they'd won, let them think I was average. And then, one day, I'd show them exactly how wrong they were. I started working differently, not just harder, smarter, more strategically, with purpose beyond just getting a paycheck. I took online courses at night after Sarah went to sleep. Business management, digital marketing, data analytics, certifications that would make me more valuable, more promotable, less average. I networked obsessively, reached out to every connection I had, attended industry events even when they were expensive and I had to skip meals to afford the ticket, made myself visible, made myself known. I volunteered for the projects no one else wanted, the difficult clients, the tight deadlines, the impossible tasks, and I delivered every time. My boss noticed after 6 months. You've been crushing it lately, he said during a one-on-one, taking on everything I throw at you and then some. What changed? Got motivated. Well, keep it up. There's a senior position opening up next quarter. If you keep performing like this, you're first in line. I got the promotion. 20% raise, title change, more responsibility, more visibility. I didn't tell Sarah's parents. Didn't mention it at all when they asked about work during their next visit. Still at the same company? Richard asked. Yep, same company. Same position? More or less. The lie was deliberate. Let them think I was stagnant. Let them think they were right about me, but I told Sarah, showed her the offer letter, watched her eyes light up for the first time in months. This is great. This is really great, she hugged me. We should celebrate. We should save it, put it toward the house fund. All of it? Most of it. Maybe we splurge a little. New couch? She laughed. The diseased couch's days are numbered. Its days are very numbered. We bought a new couch. Nothing fancy, but new. Ours. Not a hand-me-down, not a Craigslist find. Ours. Judith's face when she saw it during her next visit was priceless. You bought a new couch. We did. Must be nice, having disposable income. It's not disposable. We saved for it. She examined it like a detective looking for flaws. It's fine. Not what I would have chosen, but fine. I said nothing, smiled, let her think whatever she wanted. The promotion was just the beginning. I kept pushing, kept learning, kept delivering results that made me indispensable. 18 months later, another promotion. 30% raise this time, senior manager, leading a team, making decisions that affected company strategy. Our savings account grew, slowly at first, then faster, then much faster. I started looking at houses, secretly, during lunch breaks after work, researching neighborhoods, down payment requirements, mortgage rates, making a plan. What are you always looking at on your phone? Sarah asked one evening. Just work stuff. You're always working, even at home. I'm building something for us. Trust me. She trusted me. That was enough. 2 years after that first promotion, 3.5 years after her father called me average, I had enough saved for a down payment on a house. A real house. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, nice neighborhood, yard, garage, everything we talked about. Everything her parents said I'd never be able to afford. I took Sarah to see it without telling her why. "Why are we here?" she asked as we pulled up. "Just want to show you something." We walked through. She loved it. Every room, every detail, the kitchen with actual counter space, the master bedroom with an attached bathroom, the yard where we could get a dog, have barbecues, build a life. "This is beautiful," she said. "Whoever lives here is lucky. We could live here." "What?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the mortgage pre-approval, the down payment saved, the math that worked. "We can afford this. If you want it, we can buy this house." She cried. Happy tears, shock tears, tears of relief. "How? When did you?" "I've been saving, working extra, planning. I wanted to surprise you." "You did. You really did." She hugged me. "Can we really do this?" "We can really do this." We put in an offer that day. It was accepted 3 days later. Closing was scheduled for 6 weeks out. I didn't tell her parents, kept it quiet. Let them continue thinking we were stuck in the apartment. Let them continue their judgments and comments and condescension. Because I was planning something petty, something satisfying, something they'd taught me to do through years of their own pettiness. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just strategic timing. We closed on the house on a Friday in October. Perfect weather, blue skies, cool breeze, everything aligned. Sarah was glowing, more excited than I'd seen her in years. We walked through our house, just taking it in. "I can't believe this is ours," she kept saying. "Believe it. 3 bedrooms. We can have an office and a guest room, and maybe start thinking about kids. Maybe." We spent the weekend moving in. Friends helped. We ordered pizza, laughed, made plans for furniture and paint colors and everything we'd do with our space. By Sunday evening, we were exhausted but happy, sitting on our new couch in our new living room in our new house. "Should we tell my parents?" Sarah asked. "Eventually. They're going to be shocked." "Good. You're enjoying this." "A little. Is that bad?" "No. They've been awful to you. They deserve to be shocked. They deserve more than that. But shocked is a start." The call from her parents came Tuesday morning. Sarah answered. I could hear Judith's voice from across the room, that particular pitch she used when she was upset. "We need to talk to you, in person, soon." "What's wrong?" "We'll explain when we see you. Can we come by this weekend?" Sarah looked at me. I shook my head slightly. "Not yet." "We're actually really busy this weekend. Maybe next month?" "Next month? This is urgent, Sarah. We need to see you this weekend." "What's so urgent?" "We'll explain in person. Saturday. We'll come to your apartment." "Actually, we don't live in the apartment anymore." Silence on the other end. Then, "What?" "We moved. We bought a house." More silence. Longer this time. "You bought a house." Judith's voice was flat. Shocked. "When?" "Closed last Friday. We moved in over the weekend." "How? How did you? You said you were years away from affording." "Plans changed. We saved more than we thought. Got a good deal. It worked out." "I see." The tone was strange. Off. "Well, congratulations. We'll visit your new house this weekend then, Saturday at 2. "Mom, we're really busy." "Saturday at 2. We'll see you then." She hung up before Sarah could protest. "That was weird," Sarah said. "Yeah, something's wrong." "You think?" "Your mom doesn't get flustered." She sounded flustered. "Maybe she's just surprised about the house." "Maybe." But I knew something was wrong. People like Judith don't get flustered over good news. They get flustered over bad news that they have to share. Wednesday morning, I got a call from Sarah. She was crying. "What's wrong?" "My parents. They lost their house. Foreclosure. They've been keeping it secret, but now it's final and they have to leave next week and they don't know where to go." My stomach dropped. "How did they lose their house?" "Bad investments. Dad had some business thing that went wrong. Lost a lot of money. They refinanced to cover it. Then it happened again. They're broke, completely broke, and now they're being evicted." "Jesus." "They're coming Saturday, not to see the house, to ask if they can stay with us, in our guest room, until they get back on their feet." I was silent for a long moment, thinking, planning. "When did you find this out?" "Just now." My mom finally broke down and told me. She's been trying to hide it, trying to maintain appearances, but she can't anymore. And they want to stay with us. They need to stay with us. They're my parents. We have a guest room. We have space. What else can we do? We can do a lot of things. Like what? Let them be homeless? They had years to plan for this, years to make better decisions. They're in this position because of their choices. I know, but they're still my parents. Parents who spent years telling me I was average, telling you that you deserved better, mocking our apartment and our furniture and our entire life. I know they were awful, but they're desperate now. This is different. Is it? Yes. This is them needing help. Real help. Not judgment. Help. I sat with it. Let the irony wash over me. The people who'd said I'd never amount to anything were now coming to ask for help from the person they'd mocked. I need to think about this, I said finally. There's nothing to think about. They're my parents. They need help. We help them. Sarah, they spent years making us feel like shit, making me feel like a failure, telling you that you made a mistake marrying me, and now, the second they need something, we're supposed to forget all that. I'm not asking you to forget. I'm asking you to be the bigger person. Being the bigger person means letting them move into our house, the house they said I'd never be able to afford. Yes, that's exactly what it means. We went back and forth. She wanted to help them immediately. I don't know what I wanted. Revenge, justice, vindication? I had an idea, a petty, calculated, perfectly timed idea. Let me handle this, I said. Handle what? Let me handle Saturday, trust me. What are you going to do? Something they taught me to do. You'll see. I had 3 days. 3 days to set up the most satisfying moment of strategic revenge I'd ever execute. Thursday morning, I called a friend who ran a property management company. Hey Mark, quick question. You guys handle short-term rentals, right? Airbnb type stuff? Yeah, we manage about 30 properties. Why? I want to rent out my guest room, just for a week or two. Can you list it? Your guest room? You just bought that house. I know. I want to make some extra money. Test out the rental market. You're bullshitting me. What's really going on? My in-laws are showing up Saturday expecting to move in. I want them to show up to a house that's already occupied. Mark laughed. That's cold, man. They spent years being cold to me. This is karma. Fair enough. How much you want to charge? Whatever market rate is. I don't care about the money. I just need someone booked for this weekend. Preferably someone who will actually be there during the day Saturday. I can make that happen. We've got a wait list of people looking for short-term places. I'll have someone booked by end of day. Thanks, Mark. This is going to be legendary. You have to tell me how it goes. By Thursday evening, the guest room was booked. A couple from out of town, visiting for a wedding, needed a place Friday through Monday. Perfect timing. Friday morning, they checked in. Nice couple, early 30s, excited about the wedding. Had no idea they were part of an elaborate revenge plot. Make yourselves at home, I told them. You've got the run of the guest room and bathroom. Kitchen's available. Just treat the place like yours. Thank you so much. This is perfect. Way better than a hotel. Glad to help. Sarah was at work. I hadn't told her about the renters yet. Figured I'd let her find out Saturday at the same time as her parents. You're going to be mad at me, I told her that evening. What did you do? I rented out the guest room. You what? There are people staying in the guest room, a couple. They're here for a wedding. Booked through tomorrow. Are you insane? My parents are coming tomorrow. Where are they supposed to stay? That's kind of the point. This isn't funny. They're desperate. They need help. They need help from the person they called average, the person they said would never amount to anything, the person whose apartment they mocked for years. That's who they need help from now. So this is revenge? This is boundaries. This is self-respect. This is them learning that actions have consequences. They're my parents. They're people who treated me like garbage, and I'm not obligated to help people who treated me like garbage. Neither are you. So what am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. Tell them we have renters. Tell them the rooms are occupied. Tell them they should have been nicer when they had the chance. She was furious. Didn't talk to me the rest of the night. Slept in the guest bathroom since the guest room was occupied. I felt bad. Kind of. But mostly I felt vindicated. Finally. After years of being made to feel small. Saturday morning came. I made coffee. The renters came down, cheerful, excited about their wedding later. This place is great, the husband said. Thanks again for hosting. No problem. Enjoy your day. Sarah was in the kitchen, silent, angry. We didn't talk, just waited. At 1:55 p.m., I saw their car pull up. Right on time, always on time. Judith and Richard, with suitcases in their trunk. They're here, I said. I know. You ready for this? I think you're making a huge mistake. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. The doorbell rang at exactly 2:00 p.m. I opened it to find them standing there, looking older, worn, desperate, but still with that edge of entitlement. We're here, Judith announced, and that's where our story began. I stand in the doorway, blocking their entrance, watching their faces cycle through confusion, frustration, and dawning anger. What do you mean the rooms are rented? Judith demands. We told Sarah we were coming. She said it was fine. She said you could ask. I'm saying no. The rooms are occupied by paying guests. Paying guests? We're family. Family who spent years telling me I'd never amount to anything. Family who mocked our apartment. Family who told Sarah she made a mistake marrying me. That family? Richard's face is red now. That's irrelevant. We need a place to stay. You have the space. You have to help us. I don't have to do anything. This is my house, my space, my choice. Sarah, Judith calls past me. Sarah, tell him he has to let us stay. Sarah appears behind me. She looks torn, guilty, but she doesn't contradict me. The guest room is rented, she says quietly. There are people staying there. So kick them out, Richard explodes. We're family. They're strangers. Family comes first. Family comes first? I repeat. Like how you put family first when you told Sarah she deserved better than me, when you mocked every aspect of our life together, when you told me I was average and would never succeed. That kind of family first? That was just, we were concerned. You were cruel. There's a difference. Judith's face crumples. Please, we have nowhere to go. We lost everything. Our house is gone. Our savings are gone. We're desperate. You can't just turn us away. I can, and I am. We'll pay rent, Richard tries. We'll get jobs. We'll contribute. Just let us stay until we figure things out. Pay rent with what money? You're broke. You just said you lost everything, so you're asking to stay for free? In the house you said I'd never be able to afford? The house that proves you were wrong about everything. And now you want me to just forget all that and let you move in? We were wrong, Judith says. Tears on her face now. Real tears. Or good acting. Hard to tell. We were wrong about you. You've done well. You've succeeded. You've proven us wrong. We're sorry. We're so sorry. Please. We're begging you. The apology feels hollow. Too late. Motivated by need, not actual remorse. If you'd apologized years ago, if you'd treated me with respect from the beginning, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd already be inside, unpacking, settling in. But you didn't. You were cruel. You were dismissive. You made me feel worthless. And now you want me to just forget all that? We'll make it up to you, Richard says. We'll apologize properly. You taught me an important lesson. You taught me that people should get what they deserve. You taught me that some people are worth investing in and some people aren't. You taught me that when people don't meet your standards, you can just dismiss them. I'm just applying your lessons. At that moment, the renters come downstairs. The couple, dressed for the wedding. They see us at the door and wave. We're heading out. Thanks again for everything. Have fun at the wedding, I call back. They leave through the back door to avoid the scene at the front. Judith stares after them. Those are your renters? Some random couple going to a wedding? You're really choosing them over us? I'm choosing my self-respect over people who never respected me. This is cruel, she shrieks. This is inhumane. We're your wife's parents. We raised her. You raised someone to think she was too good for me. You raised someone to value money over character. You raised someone who almost left me because I wasn't successful enough fast enough. That's what you raised. Be proud. Sarah is crying now, torn between her parents and her husband, between obligation and justice. What are we supposed to do? Richard asks, defeated now, broken. Where are we supposed to go? I don't know. Figure it out. Like you told me to figure out life on my own. Like you said I should do when you were mocking my apartment and my furniture and my income. Figure it out. We'll be homeless, Judith whispers. Then you'll understand what it felt like when you made me feel worthless, when you made Sarah question our marriage, when you made me doubt myself every single day. Maybe that understanding will make you better people. Please, she tries one more time. Please, we're sorry. We'll do anything. Just don't do this. I already did it. The rooms are rented. Through next week. Non-refundable. You can't stay here. You need to leave. I start to close the door. Wait, Richard shouts. We'll pay you. We'll get the money somehow. Name your price. There is no price. This isn't about money. This is about self-respect. This is about boundaries. This is about me finally standing up to people who tried to tear me down. You taught me to stand up for myself. Congratulations. Lesson learned. I close the door. Gently, politely, not a slam, just a quiet, firm closure. Through the door, I hear Judith sobbing. Richard shouting, demanding, threatening. You'll regret this, he yells. You're destroying your marriage. Sarah will never forgive you. I turn to look at Sarah. She's still crying, but she's not moving toward the door, not trying to open it, not trying to override my decision. He's right, she says quietly. I might not forgive you for this. I know, but I couldn't forgive myself if I let them stay, not after everything they put us through. They're desperate. They were cruel first, desperate second. I'm not responsible for fixing the consequences of their choices. They're my parents. They're people who tried to destroy our marriage, who made you question whether you made a mistake marrying me, who made me feel worthless for years. That's who they are. Being your parents doesn't erase that. We stand there in our beautiful house, the house her parents said I'd never afford, the house that proves I wasn't average, the house that represents everything I built despite their predictions, and listen to them yell and cry and threaten outside. Eventually they leave, engine starting, car pulling away, silence returning. Sarah walks to the couch, sits down, puts her head in her hands. I sit next to her. Give her space, but stay close. I know you're angry, I say. I'm not angry. I don't know what I am. They hurt me for years. Every visit, every comment, every judgment, they hurt me, and you watched it happen. I defended you. You defended me with words, but you also let their words sink in. You started questioning us, questioning me, questioning whether you made a mistake. Their poison worked. It almost destroyed us. She's quiet for a long time. Then, you're right. I did let them get to me. I did start doubting. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm trying to explain why I can't help them. They tried to destroy what we have, and now they want us to save them? That's not how this works. So what happens now? Now they figure out their own lives, like I had to, like everyone has to. And us? That's up to you. I understand if this is too much, if you can't forgive me for this. If you want to leave, I get it. She looks at me, really looks at me. Do you want me to leave? No, but I won't beg you to stay. You have to choose. Them or me. Obligation or partnership. You can't have both. She's quiet again, thinking, processing. Finally, I choose you. I should have chosen you years ago, when they first started with the comments. I should have shut them down completely. I should have protected you the way you've protected me. I'm sorry I didn't. So you're okay with them not staying here? I'm not okay with them being homeless, but I understand why you can't let them stay. I don't love it, but I understand it. They earned this. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just don't let me regret this choice. I won't. We sit together in our house, our achievement, our proof that average people can succeed through determination and refusal to give up. Outside, it starts to rain. Light drizzle. I think about Judith and Richard driving somewhere, looking for a hotel they can't afford, dealing with consequences they created, and I feel not happy, not vindictive, just relieved. Finally, after years of being made to feel small, I'd set a boundary that mattered. The week was tense. Sarah called her parents every day. They'd found a cheap motel, were staying there temporarily, running through what little money they had left. Each call, Judith would ask the same question. Can we stay with you yet? Are your renters gone? And Sarah would give the same answer. No, they're still there. It was true. The wedding couple had left Monday, but I'd booked another renter immediately, then another, kept the room occupied continuously. You're being petty, Sarah said after the third week. I'm being consistent. They're my parents. They're struggling. They'll figure it out, like I had to. You're enjoying this. I'm not enjoying their suffering. I'm enjoying having boundaries that matter. The calls from Judith got more desperate, then angry, then desperate again. You're destroying our relationship with Sarah, she said during one call that Sarah put on speaker. You destroyed our relationship when you spent years tearing me down, I replied. We apologized. You apologized because you needed something, not because you meant it. There's a difference. What do you want from us? Blood? Do you want us to beg? I want you to understand what you did. Really understand. Not just apologize to get what you want, but actually recognize how cruel you were. Silence on the other end. Then, we were concerned parents. We wanted the best for our daughter. You were bullies. You wanted Sarah to be unhappy with me so she'd leave me. That's not concern. That's manipulation. That's not... It is. You know it is. And until you can admit that, really admit it, we have nothing more to talk about. I hung up. Sarah looked at me. That was harsh. It was honest. They're never going to admit they were manipulative. That's not who they are. Then they're never going to stay in this house. Simple as that. 3 months passed. The guest room stayed rented. Different people, different reasons for visiting our city, business travelers, weekend tourists, people visiting family, all paying, all temporary, all preventing her parents from moving in. Judith and Richard found jobs, retail, service industry, the kind of jobs they'd looked down on when I was working similar positions. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. They found a small apartment, studio, cheap, in a neighborhood that wasn't great, similar to where Sarah and I had started. Judith called Sarah, crying. We're living in a place worse than where you started. It's humiliating. It's humbling, Sarah corrected. There's a difference. You've changed. You used to be compassionate. Now you're as cold as your husband. I'm not cold. I'm just not enabling you anymore. You made your choices. These are the consequences. We're your parents. You're people who tried to destroy my marriage. People who made my husband feel worthless. People who only care about me when it's convenient. Being my parents doesn't mean I owe you everything. The calls became less frequent, then stopped almost entirely. 6 months after the doorstep confrontation, we got a letter, handwritten, from Judith. Sarah read it aloud. Dear Sarah and my name, I'm writing this because I can't say it on the phone. I can't admit I was wrong when I'm looking at you. It's too hard. We were wrong. Not just about my name, about everything, about what matters, about what makes a good husband, about what makes a good life. We thought money equaled success. We thought status equaled worth. We were so focused on appearances that we forgot about character, about love, about respect. We judged my name for having less money than us, for living in a small apartment, for not being immediately successful. We were cruel. We were dismissive. We tried to convince Sarah she'd made a mistake. We were the mistakes. Not him. Us. Living in a studio apartment now, working retail jobs, struggling to pay rent. It's given us perspective we should have had years ago. We understand now what we put you through, what we put my name through. We don't expect forgiveness. We don't expect to be welcomed back into your lives. We just wanted you to know. We were wrong. Completely. Totally. Inexcusably wrong. We're sorry. Mom and Dad. Sarah looked up at me. What do you think? I think they've been humbled. Whether they've actually changed, time will tell. Should we forgive them? That's up to you. They're your parents. But they hurt you more than me. They hurt us both, just in different ways. We sat with it. The letter felt genuine. But genuine doesn't erase years of cruelty, doesn't undo the damage, doesn't automatically earn forgiveness. I want to see them, Sarah said finally. Not here, not yet. But maybe we could meet for coffee, talk, see if the apology is real or just more manipulation. Okay. You'll come with me? Of course. We met them the following weekend. A neutral coffee shop. Public, safe. They looked different, older, worn down, humbled in a way they never had been before. Judith hugged Sarah. Tried to hug me. I shook her hand instead. Kept the boundary. We sat, ordered coffee, made small talk that felt forced and awkward. Finally, Richard spoke. We meant what we said in the letter. We were wrong, about everything. Why now? I asked. Why apologize now? Is it because you want something, or because you actually understand what you did? Both, he admitted. We want a relationship with our daughter. We don't want to be estranged forever, but also living the way we're living now, working the jobs we're working, struggling the way we're struggling. It's given us perspective. You understand that you were cruel? Yes. We were looking down on you for living a life we're living now. It's hypocritical. It's humiliating. It's karma. Do you understand why I couldn't let you stay in our house? He was quiet for a moment. Then, yes. If someone had treated me the way we treated you, I wouldn't have let them in my house either. I'd have done exactly what you did. Probably worse. And you? I looked at Judith. Do you understand? I understand that we judged you unfairly, that we made assumptions about who you were based on how much money you made, that we tried to sabotage your marriage because we thought we knew better. We were wrong. We're sorry. It felt real, more real than the desperate apologies at the doorstep 6 months ago. I appreciate the apology, I said, but I'm not ready to forgive everything. That takes time. We understand. And if you ever want a relationship with us, with me, it has to be built on respect. Real respect. Not pretending to respect me while secretly judging me. Not complimenting me to my face while mocking me behind my back. Real, genuine respect. We can do that, Judith said. Then maybe we can start rebuilding, slowly, with boundaries. Sarah was crying. Happy tears, relief tears. We talked for 2 hours about their jobs, their apartment, their new life. It wasn't comfortable, it wasn't easy, but it was honest. As we left, Judith pulled me aside. Thank you for giving us another chance. I'm not giving you anything. You have to earn it, but I'm open to letting you try. That's all we can ask for. Sarah and I drove home in silence. When we pulled into our driveway, our beautiful house that started this whole mess, she turned to me. Thank you. For what? For standing up for yourself. For standing up for us. For not letting them walk all over you anymore. I should have done it years ago. Maybe, but you did it when it mattered. That's what counts. We went inside. Our house, our achievement, our proof that people who get dismissed as average can succeed through determination and self-respect. The guest room stood empty now. No renters, just space, waiting for whatever came next. Maybe one day her parents would earn the right to stay there. Maybe they'd rebuild trust. Maybe they'd actually change. Or maybe not. Maybe the boundary would stay firm forever. Either way, I'd sleep well. Because I'd finally learned what took too long to understand. You don't owe people unlimited chances just because they're family. You don't have to accept cruelty just because it comes from people you're related to. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is say no, is close the door, is protect your peace. And that's exactly what I'd done. Life moves forward whether you're ready or not, sometimes faster than you expect, sometimes in directions you never imagined. The relationship with Sarah's parents rebuilt slowly, very slowly, with boundaries that stayed firm and non-negotiable. They came for holidays, but stayed in a hotel. No arguments, no negotiations. That was the rule. They could visit our house for a few hours, share a meal, exchange pleasantries. Then they left. No overnight stays, no moving in, no crossing lines that had been drawn in blood and vindication. They were polite now, respectful in ways they'd never been before, careful with their words like they were navigating a minefield. The mockery was gone, burned away by their own humiliation. The judgment was gone, replaced with something that resembled actual humility. The condescension that had poisoned our relationship for years had evaporated, leaving behind people I almost didn't recognize. Your house is lovely, Judith said during Thanksgiving dinner our second year in the house. No condescension, no comparisons to her old house, no subtle digs about what she would have chosen differently. Just a genuine compliment delivered without agenda. Thank you. You've done well, really well, better than we ever gave you credit for. She paused, choosing words carefully. We were wrong about you, completely wrong. I hope you know that now. I know. You've shown it through actions. That matters more than words ever could. And it was true. The apologies had come multiple times over the past 2 years. But apologies are cheap. Easy to say when you're desperate. The real proof came in changed behavior, in respect earned through consistency, in boundaries honored without complaint. Richard helped with dishes after dinner, unprompted. Just stood up, gathered plates, and brought them to the kitchen. Small gesture to most people, enormous gesture from a man who'd spent years sitting like a king, while others served him. How's the new job? I asked him while we rinsed plates. He'd moved up from retail to assistant manager at a furniture store. Still not wealthy, nowhere close to where he'd been before his financial collapse. But stable, earning his way through honest work instead of risky investments and borrowed money. It's good. Better hours than retail. Better pay, better benefits. He scrubbed a plate with more focus than necessary. I'm learning to appreciate the work, to take pride in it instead of being ashamed of it. That's significant growth. It's humility, something I should have learned decades ago instead of my 60s. He looked at me. I was an ass to you. For years. You didn't deserve any of it. No, I didn't. If you'd treated me the way I treated you, I'd have done much worse than rent out a guest room. I'd have burned bridges completely. The fact that you're even allowing us here, allowing us to rebuild a relationship, that's grace I don't deserve. Maybe not, but Sarah deserves to have a relationship with her parents. And you're becoming people worth having a relationship with. That's what matters now. He nodded. We finished the dishes in comfortable silence, the kind of silence that comes from mutual understanding rather than awkward tension. Sarah was happy. Really genuinely happy in ways she hadn't been during the early years of our marriage. The tension that had lived between us for so long, the constant undercurrent of her parents' disapproval, the questioning of whether she'd made a mistake, the comparisons to friends who'd married richer men, all of it was gone, vaporized, replaced with peace and confidence and contentment. We're trying for kids, she told her mother during that same Thanksgiving visit. They were sitting on our couch, the nice couch in our nice house that we'd earned through years of sacrifice and discipline. Judith's eyes lit up in ways I'd never seen. Genuine joy. Really? Oh, sweetheart, that's wonderful. We wanted to wait until we were stable, until everything felt right, until we knew we could provide a good life. Now we can. Now it's time. You'll be wonderful parents. Both of you. Judith reached over and squeezed my hand. You're going to be a great father. You've already proven you know how to work for what you want, how to sacrifice, how to build something lasting. Those are the qualities that matter. The compliment felt surreal. The woman who'd spent years questioning my worth was now praising me, not because I'd changed, I'd always had those qualities, but because she'd finally opened her eyes to see them. The conversation felt normal, healthy, like how families should interact when they actually respect each other. No landmines, no passive aggression, just genuine conversation between people who'd learned hard lessons about consequences and humility. After they left that evening, Sarah and I sat on our couch, the same couch they'd sat on hours earlier, and decompressed. They've really changed, Sarah said, like fundamentally changed. Not just pretending, actually different people. Hitting rock bottom does that sometimes, forces you to examine yourself, to recognize patterns, to become better or become bitter. They chose better. Do you forgive them? Really actually forgive them? I thought about it, really thought about it. I'm working on it. Forgiveness isn't instantaneous. It's not a switch you flip. It's a process, a journey. But I'm further along than I was 2 years ago, further than I was a year ago. So yes, I'm forgiving them, slowly, deliberately, with boundaries that protect what we've built. Would you ever let them stay here, if they truly needed to, if it was an emergency? Maybe. If it was genuinely an emergency, if they'd exhausted every other option, if they asked with respect instead of demanded with entitlement, if they'd earned it through consistent changed behavior over years. Maybe then? But not before that? Not before that. The boundary matters. It's not punishment. It's protection. It reminds all of us that respect isn't optional, that history doesn't entitle anyone to unlimited access, that relationships require reciprocity. She nodded, understanding. I'm glad you stood up to them. I should have done it sooner. Should have protected you better. Should have shut them down the first time they made a cruel comment. You protected me when it counted. When I closed that door and told them the house was full, you stood next to me. You chose us over them. That's when it mattered most. I'll always choose us, I promise. Our business, my career, continued thriving. I'd been promoted twice more since buying the house. Was now a senior director making $115,000 base plus significant bonuses and stock options. Total compensation around $140,000. More than her parents had made even in their peak years before their financial collapse. The irony wasn't lost on anyone, especially them. Remember when they said you'd never amount to anything? Sarah asked with a small smile, curling into me on the couch. I remember every word, every comment, every judgment, every comparison to Marcus and the other successful husbands. How does it feel to have proven them so completely wrong? It feels quiet, like justice doesn't need to be loud or obvious. It just needs to be real. I don't need to rub it in their faces. They know. They see it every time they visit this house. They feel it every time they compare their studio apartment to our 3-bedroom house. The success speaks for itself. You're more gracious than I would be. I'm strategic. Rubbing it in would give them an excuse to play victim, to say I'm cruel or petty. But staying quiet, being gracious, letting the results speak, that gives them nothing to criticize. Just forces them to sit with the reality that they were completely, embarrassingly wrong. 3 months after that Thanksgiving, we got the news. Sarah was pregnant, 8 weeks along, healthy pregnancy, due in July. We told her parents at Christmas, invited them over specifically to share the news. They arrived with their usual careful politeness, still staying at a hotel, still respecting boundaries. "We have news," Sarah said after dinner, barely able to contain her excitement. "What kind of news?" Judith asked. "The best kind. You're going to be grandparents. I'm pregnant." Judith gasped, actually gasped, tears immediately flowing. "Oh my God. Oh, sweetheart. That's wonderful. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." Richard stood up, looking emotional in ways I'd never seen from him. "Congratulations, both of you. This is incredible news." "Can we be involved?" Judith asked carefully, tentatively, like she was aware she needed permission. "In the baby's life, as grandparents, we don't want to overstep. We'd like to be part of this if you'll allow it." "Yes," Sarah said, "but with boundaries. Respect for us as parents. No undermining, no judgment, no comparing our choices to what you would do, no commentary on our parenting, support without conditions." "We can do that. We will do that. We promise." "And you have to respect that this is our child," I added. "Not a second chance for you to parent differently. Not an opportunity to prove something. Our child, our rules, our decisions. You're grandparents. That's a privilege, not a right." "Understood," Richard said. "Completely understood." And for the most part, they kept that promise. When our daughter Emma was born in July, they came to visit at the hospital. Brought appropriate gifts, not excessive, not cheap, just right. Held her gently. Were appropriately emotional and grateful without making it about themselves. "She's beautiful," Judith whispered, tears streaming down her face as she held Emma. "Absolutely perfect. You're going to be amazing parents." "Thank you," Sarah said. Richard looked at me, really looked at me, with something that might have been respect or admiration or maybe just recognition. "I'm sorry. For everything. I know I've said it before, but holding my granddaughter makes me need to say it again. We were terrible to you. Cruel, judgmental, wrong about everything. You deserved better from us. Your daughter deserves grandparents who learn from their mistakes. We're trying to be those grandparents. You're doing better. Keep doing better. That's all anyone can ask." They left after an hour, gave us space, respected our boundaries as new parents, didn't try to extend their visit or push for more time, just expressed gratitude for what they were given and left gracefully. As they walked away down the hospital corridor, Sarah said, "They've really changed. This is who they should have been all along, who they would have been if they'd had humility earlier. Hitting rock bottom broke them, then rebuilt them into better people. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes people need to lose everything to understand what really matters." "Do you think you'll ever tell Emma about what happened, about the doorstep, about the revenge? Maybe when she's older, as a lesson about self-respect, about boundaries, about not letting people treat you poorly just because they're family, about standing up for yourself even when it's hard. That's a valuable lesson. It's the lesson your parents taught me, just not the way they intended. They taught me that respect is mandatory, that boundaries matter, that consequences are real. They just thought they'd be teaching it, not learning it." We brought Emma home to our house 2 days later, the house that started everything, the house that forced the confrontation, the house that proved I wasn't average, the house that saved our marriage by forcing everyone to recognize reality. The nursery was perfect. Sarah had decorated it during pregnancy, soft yellows and grays, tasteful without being overdone. The life we'd built was perfect, not because of money or status or proving anyone wrong, but because we'd learned to protect our peace, to value respect, to set boundaries that mattered, and in the end, that was worth more than any revenge could ever be. Though I'd be lying if I said the memory of closing that door on them, of saying, "Sorry, it's full," while they stood there with suitcases in shock, didn't still bring a small, satisfied smile when I thought about it. Sometimes karma comes through foreclosure and homelessness and perspective gained through suffering. And sometimes karma is just a well-timed Airbnb booking and a polite, "Sorry, it's full." Both are valid forms of justice. Both taught the same lesson. Respect isn't optional, it's mandatory. And people who forget that learn eventually, whether through wisdom or consequence. My in-laws learned through consequence, but at least they learned. And now, holding my daughter in the house they said I'd never afford, watching them visit with humility they never had before, I could finally say, the revenge was worth it. The boundary was worth it. The closed door was worth it. Because it led to opened eyes, and opened eyes led to changed people, and changed people could finally be welcomed back, carefully, gradually, with boundaries, into a family they'd almost destroyed. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just quiet satisfaction, a closed door, a rented room, a lesson learned through consequence, and that's enough. The end.